Good morning. I'm Michi Kohno. Currently, I'm President and CEO of Michi Creative City Designers, which is a new company I started running just 1 year ago. Until then, until the end of November last year, I had been working in Hitachi for more than 40 years, and during the last several years, I was in the Smart City Project Division of Hitachi Limited, and I worked on the Smart City business there. And today I'm talking about the smart cities and ISO standards on city indicators. And the first, what are smart cities? As Denise started this session, that there are many definitions of smart cities. And in Japan, in many cases, smart cities are regarded as the energy efficient cities because the technology like smart grid and energy efficient technology have been advancing, and also the smart city activities in Japan have been led by the Ministry of Industry, Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, which is mainly concerned with the energy efficiency area. So many people think that the energy efficient cities are smart cities. But in the States or in Europe, the connected cities or the cities with the IT networks or the sensors or the Internet of Things are smart cities because the word smart city was originated by IBM by saying smarter cities several years ago. And but in the States, there's a word that smart city for ICT enterprises syndrome. That means that the ICT is too much focused on smart cities. Here, my definition of smart city is written here, that a smart city is a process or a means to solve issues associated with the sustainable growth of the cities. So when the city grows, it makes some problems, and the smart cities are means or process to solve these issues. And smart city is not a goal by itself, and the cities should have clear future vision at which they aim and clear understanding of the issues to be solved to obtain the goal. So quite often I have questions from mayor that what can your smart city do for my city? That is kind of a wrong question, or the other way around. And when the mayor would like to improve their city, then they need the way to become smart. And also here some historical review of the focuses of the smart cities. And in early days, about 5 years ago or something, environment-driven projects like Kenjin eco-cities were very famous. And most of the projects were energy-centric. And then today, because after some trials and demonstration project, the industry has found that there are difficulty in finding viable business models of energy management services, which were expected to create new businesses among the energy in the energy sector. And also, at the beginning, there are some effect of energy saving by showing the use of the energy by home energy management system, like the visualization of the use of the energy made some effect to the consumer to save energy. But after a couple of years, residents got bored of energy saving. And now, from this background, many people start thinking of different types of smart cities, like sustainability economy, like in the States, the background is that the bankruptcy of Detroit, city of Detroit, and also more mobility centric, and also because of the Hurricane Sandy and big disaster of earthquake and tsunami in Japan, the resilience has become another focus of the smart cities. So the smart city have broader aspects or broader objectives to be included in their concept. And also, I think this shows the change of the focuses of the smart cities is a kind of proof that the concept of smart city has not been established. And this is my favorite picture, and I believe that the history will repeat itself, because in early 20th century in England, there was a rapid growth of the population in London, and the hygienic condition in the cities deteriorated, and at that time there was pressure on cities to create new ways of being for cities. And for example, Howard proposed garden cities, and some other proposed contemporary city like Le Corbusier, and there are some utopians who actually made cities within their land, but most of them went out, exit. And the situation is like this, and today the population of the world, or especially in the growing market, is growing very rapidly, and there are pressure on the city to find out a new way of being for the cities, and then the smart cities or eco cities, many cities, different types of cities have been proposed by companies or universities or municipalities, and there's still the stage. I believe it is still the stage that many people are talking about, and we haven't found the correct answer yet. And there are, in many cases, the smart cities are related to the technological aspect of the cities, of being of the cities. And but when you talk about the urban issue, there are three ways of the solution. One is by solving the issue by policies. The second one is by the change of the lifestyle of the people, and we have the solution by technologies. So we need to have the well-balanced approaches of these different, three different approaches to the issues. Now, this is another my favorite drawing, which I created 5-6 years ago, and as somebody pointed out that during the opening, that the cities are part of a broader area. So residents receive the benefit of the infrastructure through services. And so the services come just under the resident, and services are given at the facilities like house or offices, factories or stations, and these facilities are supported by urban infrastructure like energy, water, mobility, and ICT kind of thing. And this urban infrastructure layer is a part of a nationwide infrastructure layer. So we need to identify which layer the issue is, and also we need to identify the layer where the issues should be solved. And this is another picture that why the cities have better opportunities for solving the issues is that this is, from here, it becomes the location issue, that all the different infrastructure are located in the same geography. So, and you can find different infrastructure in countryside, but they are not located in the same, under the same road. So this has, the cities have the better opportunity of the integration of the functions of the infrastructures, and also the better opportunity of the management, integrated management of the different infrastructures. And this is another diagram which I've been using for 4 or 5 years, and I found a similar diagram in this leaflet today. And this is a kind of a layer analogy of the infrastructure, and you have a physical layer at the bottom, like big feeder lines or water pipelines or gas pipes. Then at the network or layer something, there's the issue of the commonality or sharing of the maps and the diagrams, which the different operators of the infrastructure have independently. And here we have the opportunity to have the integration, and also about this layer, there should be a common platform for security, which means that the user authentication and encryption. That this is a very, and just an idea, but it is useful to think of the functionality of the infrastructure from the physical structure to the application or the use of the infrastructure. And now I'm going to the ISO standard, which is the indicators which have been standardized is, I believe this is not only for the standardization in the industry, but this is an indicator, is an tool of communication between municipality and industry, because as I mentioned earlier, that the mayors sometimes tell that we'd like to have smart city, but they don't tell exactly which part should be improved. So we need some indicators or some data that the senior officials or mayors would really like to improve, and then we can find the real solution to solve the problems. Here, the structure of ISO activities. The Technical Committee 268 was established in February 2012, so 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years. And under this TC 268, at the beginning, there have been 3 subgroups. The first is SC1, Subcommittee 1, which was proposed by Japan, and this handled the smart community infrastructure. Then the Working Group 1, WG1, which was proposed by France, is handling the management system. And the Working Group 2, which was proposed by Canada, handles the city indicators. And Working Group 3, vocabulary, this should be 3, and vocabulary was newly created in May this year, and this is convened by UK, and this PSI PAS 180 will be included here. And the discussion of this Working Group 2, convened by Canada, was officially issued as ISO 36120, and which is called Sustainable Development in Community. This is the name of the technical committee. Actually, this is the ISO for city indicators. And you can find the details of these indicators in ISO website, so I will not go into the very detail of the ISO, but at first, this indicator had 17 subjects or 17 areas, and like this, and economy, education, energy, environment, finance, fire and emergency response, governance, health, recreation, safety, shelter, solid waste, telecommunication and innovation, transportation, urban planning, wastewater, water and sanitation. And originally, these indicators were developed by GCIF, Global City Indicator Facilities, which is located in Toronto, Canada. And this GCIF was funded in 2007 or 8 by funding by the World Bank to develop the indicators to compare the cities. So, ISO 37120 is basically based on this GCIF indicators, but they selected, during the ISO discussion, they selected 46 core indicators. And these are just indicators, you know, a list of indicators. There should be, the cities should prepare these 47 core indicators so that the international organization like the World Bank or United Nations can compare the cities. That's the meaning of the standardization. So it is important to have this kind of standard to study the growth of the city, to compare the cities, and so there are this slide showed the importance of the standard, but this comparative analysis for policy development, this is the most important part of the standardization of city indicators for the municipalities, and also for the users. So the standards are applicable to city, municipality, or local government, and also so as you can see, this slide is copied from the presentation of GCIF, and as you can see here, that they are more focused on the use by the municipality rather than industry. Of course, there are some others, like the tool for city managers, planners, politicians, researchers, business leaders, designers, and other professionals. But primarily, this is the indicators are for cities. And I'll skip this. And at the same time of the creation of the ISO, World Council on City Data was created. This is a non-profit organization, also based in Toronto. So GCIF is a kind of quite public organization to create the city indicators. And WCCD, World Council on City Data, is an NPO, but funded by industry to promote the use of the ISO standards or ISO indicators. So they have just, this World Council on City Data was inaugurated in May this year, but the first global meeting was held in London 2 weeks ago. So this is quite new. And WCCD is developing the first 5-year program on city data analytics and visualization, publication, workshops, and drafting new international standards kind of thing. So, as I mentioned earlier, the ISO published 46 core standards and core indicators, but these core indicators are quite neutral. I should say it's transparent, and there's no direction toward the low carbon or toward the resilient or toward the friendly for the elderly people, but the GCIF is trying to expand the set of indicators to different directions with some added value, like eco or energy efficient cities, and the resilient or sustainable against the natural disaster, or in other directions. So there, from now on, the next ISO meeting will be held in January, and the ISO 268 WG2 will discuss the next step to expand out of the core indicator toward different directions. And this is just the World Council on City Data, and they have 12 foundation cities to work with, and also they are trying to invite as many cities as possible to become the partners of WCCD, and they are trying to, in their plan, there's a kind of certificate for the cities that to acknowledge that a city is compliant with ISO, that kind of thing. So we have, there's a kind of expression of interest which have been distributed to the cities. And now, from the ISO standard and the location power or your organizational activities, I haven't prepared any slide yet, but there are a couple of things that since I've been here from this morning, and that the ISO has just defined a set of measurements, and they haven't decided how to measure these items. So the way of measurement must be standardized in some way, and also as I mentioned at the beginning, I've been working in the area of smart city with the company Hitachi for some years, and Hitachi is a kind of ICT company. Hitachi is something like a GE plus IBM, and so when we talked with my colleagues, ex-colleagues, I should say, I felt that they tend to think of a network, which is just topological things. They don't have, IT guys tend to think of topological network without dimensions of the length or the locations. And city people, municipality people, tend to think of the land itself and zoning and the distance transportation. And I've been feeling the gap between this topological thinking and actual location thinking. And this is very important to bridge these things. And I'm very interested in your approach to smart cities from OGC, and also another thing is that as my friend from Taiwan mentioned that there will be another earthquake. Maybe you can feel another earthquake while you are in Tokyo, because there was a fairly big one about 2 weeks ago in northern part, and there's still the other things. And also, as I mentioned, there are many discussions in resilient cities in smart city area in the States and in Europe. But in Japan, it's quite urgent, because we have, we will have next disaster, earthquake, which is promised, and so we experienced the East Japan Great Earthquake on March 11th, 2011, and at that time the entire land moved and stretched, squeezed, and so even if you have land, you lost the actual location, and in this area they had to really measure using GPS their own land, because you have the street and the edge of the street and the border of street, your land and street, but the entire land has stretched or squeezed, so you need to change that, verify. And also, at that time, the GPS was very useful. And also, the next one, another disaster which is expected is eruption of Mount Fuji. And once it erupted, then even in Tokyo, we'll have ash of this thick, and we'll lose. Everything will be covered, and we'll lose the positioning signs. Or, of course, you can find traffic signs, but we need to find, the exact location of the infrastructure kind of thing. So from this approach of the resilience against the disaster, the actual positioning location is very important. So this part is just for the kind of a prelude for the afternoon discussion. Thank you very much.
We probably have just a couple of minutes if there's any questions people have for the presentation. No questions after this one? Sorry, Jeannie?
I enjoyed your presentation very much. Very informative. My question is, the United Nations Habitat Program for years and years worked on urban indicators and struggles. Were they involved with the activity, or were they supportive of the activity of the ISO program? Because I find it very fascinating.
Actually, in the discussion of the ISO, United Nations has not sent any representatives, but GCIF, Global City Indicator Facilities, which proposed the draft of the indicators, were supported by UN Habitat as well. And then there's a kind of board of directors in GCIF, and which includes a representative from UN Habitat.
Chris, did you have your?
No. I'm not sure I've actually managed to formulate a good question. It's a bit vague and waffly.
Do you want to keep it for the panel then, or do you want to share it now?
No, I'll try and ask it now. If you think of the history, I'm very interested that you mentioned Luke Howard, the inventor of the Garden City, because he was actually the man who also invented the names of clouds, like cumulonimbus and stratus. So he's a very interesting character. That's an aside. But the kind of history of cities is sort of being determined by transport. Right? Many years ago, you could only walk for half a day to carry your goods into the city and back to your farm. Then when you had a horse or a wagon, you could travel perhaps 20 miles, 30 kilometers. When we invented goods could come in from 100, 200 kilometers away. The airplane could come from 1,000 kilometers away. And what I find interesting is, as the city gets bigger, because the transport enabled it to be bigger, because you have to do it on a 24-hour basis, right? You've got to get all the food in and all the waste out every 24 hours. And lots of other things as well. But as the city gets bigger, the boundary of the city gets bigger, smaller than the volume or the area of the city. It's linear versus square. So is that a kind of considered in modern thinking, in the resilient city, is that actually taken into account in the those factors? Does the question make sense?
Yes. Actually, in the cities in the developed countries like the States, Europe, and Japan, and where the population is aging, there's another the kind of rebound from the expansion of the boundary of the city toward to make the compact cities. And there are two reasons. That one is that for the low carbon, or against the global warming, there's a trend to not to use cars too much and to use public transportation and walkable cities, and that makes the cities compact. And but at the same time, in the developing countries or emerging market, the cities are still growing, and in these countries, the transportation is always the most important issues in the growth of the cities, and the way that they to live with the low carbon, or to prevent the global warming, is to change the modality of the transportation. And now we have technologies, and then also we can come back to the trains rather than the cars, and that is in recent years. I should say that the transport-oriented development (TOD) has different meanings in a couple of different meanings. And originally, it was it meant that in 1920s in Japan, there's a couple of private railway companies which expanded the railway first and developed the residential area along the railways, and that was the original meaning of transport-oriented development. And in Southeast Asian countries like Vietnam and Thailand and Myanmar, the Japanese government, the Ministry of Land and Infrastructure are sending many experts to these countries to educate the government officials on this transport-oriented development. And now this is the time that it is maybe the 100-year cycle to have this original TOD in Southeast Asian countries or India, where the growth of the population is very high.
One last question.
Well, it's more perhaps a statement, because I didn't realise, sorry, I'm working in several European funded projects on smart cities. And we focused always on the word smart, having difficulty with that word. But you just raised an issue with the word cities in what came out in an underlying way. For example, in Edinburgh, they've just built, where I live, they've just built a tramway, so they're now calling themselves a smart city. Now, you mentioned London earlier on, and London is only 1 square mile. Everything else in London is actually not a part of the city of London. And it's the word city that we're going to have to look at for definition. Do you have a comment on that bit? Because I never thought about the word city being a problem. It was always the word smart.
Okay, in this case, the city is not always necessarily the boundary of the administrative area or legislative area. And in ISO, we didn't use the name city. It's sustainable communities. And there are also the discussion what community means. And but it depends on how, when we talk about the smart cities or smart communities, then the area of the expansion of or extension of an area being addressed is that how, it could be just a neighborhood, or it could be a greater London, or not just one city, but a group of cities which make the greater something. And if you talk about the resilience, for example, resilience of the area as a whole, then this area, which includes a couple of cities along the same river, for example, is a smart city for resilience. And if you have just a couple of buildings which have which share the same solution for the smartness of the, for example, energy or transportation, then this small area could be a smart city. So it depends how you focus on this, your project focus on to make, or based on my definition, how which area you try to solve your issue or your problem, the expansion of the area of the issues or problems to be solved. Do I answer your question? Thank you.
Would everyone please thank Michi? Okay, hopefully when I ask this question now I get a couple more hands raised, but has anybody actually written on their piece of paper or drawn pictures? Wonderful, that's what I like to see. Okay, for that you're allowed to all go and have a break for about 20 minutes or so, and can we reconvene at 11 o'clock please?